Charms Live, which is streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. I want you to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe, everyone, okay? Because that lets the algorithm know that this is good content, and we want to push this content higher and higher so everyone can watch. So please, just to start the show off, I want everyone to like, share, subscribe, and follow. All right, and thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And this is Nurse Charms Live. I am your host, Nurse Charms, and I am live. And I'm so happy to be here. Wow, it has been a long time since I've been off. Well, has it been a really long time? That was like August, I think, that I left the air for a little break, I'm just going to say. And I'll let everyone know what I've been up to during that time. But first, I just want to introduce Lavish T. Williams. And make sure you say the T, okay? Lavish T. Williams. How are you doing, Lavish?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine.
That is so good to hear. So, what's new? What's been going on?
No, first, we shouldn't even jump right into me. We got to talk about you. You know, I've been good. I've been cool. Everything's been great. You know, you back on the air. You're on a new station. You're on a new platform. You know, people still can hear your voice. People still can check you out and all what you're doing on all your social media platforms. But within this little media break, what's been going on with you and what have you been doing? Let's school the listeners that's been missing you. Like, where have you been at? Like, what's new? We want to know about you.
Oh, I've been popping, okay? Listen here, I have been staying connected. All of my followers and supporters, they know that I basically just turned my page into my own platform to connect and engage with everyone. Matter of fact, my reach right now is almost close to 1 million, which I'm so happy about, because that just means that I have the power to impact more and more people with my content, with my knowledge. So I'm just happy about that. So I've just been still staying connected. Like I was saying at the beginning, I left the air in August. And just during that kind of transition time, I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And so amazingly, I got this great opportunity here at WJZZ to just continue my, everybody knows I'm so passionate about this. Let's see, I started radio back in 2015, right? And ever since then, I never even thought that I would even go into radio, because I was working as a nurse, happy, doing my thing, branched off and started doing my entrepreneur thing, and just life was just great. And then I just got amazing opportunity to get into radio, and then from there, I just been excelling higher and higher. So I'm just so back, like I said, I'm just so happy to be back here at the station, and we got a lot to look forward to. So
yeah, no, definitely everybody got a lot to look forward to with you being on this new platform. Me myself, I just been doing the same thing you've been doing. I've been advancing and I've been growing on all social media platforms. Lavish T. Williams, if you're listening, watching, check me out. I'm on everything from YouTube to Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. And my handles is Lavish T. Williams. I've been out here doing towing. I'm an entrepreneur as well.
Right.
Towing and recovery. I got the car wash in community engagement, so I stay active, boots to the ground in the community.
Right, because you also had a show saying we were at the same place. Yeah. So are you gonna continue?
Oh yeah, I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped.
You have the YouTube, right?
I got the YouTube, and then I'm constantly I'm just always doing stuff. So for me, every platform that I'm able to touch is just a continuation of what I'm already doing.
Right.
I just don't lock myself down in one area, because I appeal to different types of people.
Right. What type of content do you put out?
It depends. I'm real big in the car and motorcycle world.
Right.
I'm a biker.
And I love cars. Not so much bikes though, but
why?
I don't know. I'm just kind of scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, working on the hospital side, I see a lot of people that had motorcycle
What's
accidents.
the first thing that they ask you?
What do you mean?
If you come in there, you see a biker down. What's one of the first things that he asks?
They generally don't ask nothing because they normally unconscious. Because I work at ICU, so I end up having to talk to them on the other side, like after they recover.
Oh, after they recover.
Yeah,
okay.
Most of my patients are like they go from their accident injury into surgery, and then when they come to me, they got the breathing tube in.
Oh, okay. Well, as a biker, when you say that, us bikers, it's a dangerous thing. However, if something happens to us, our first concern is going to be our motorcycle.
Oh my gosh, y'all more concerned about the motorcycle than
Absolutely. Listen,
y'all ain't concerned about broken bones. Like,
we're gonna figure it all out. But guess what? My first crash I had, as I was laying on the ground, I was more concerned. Where's my bike? How's my bike?
Oh my gosh, no, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, anybody that goes down, male or female,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it's dangerous. A lot of times, bikers, they are the small number of people that's not seen out here. We got to pretty much dodge the cars. But I enjoy it. I'm a biker. I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
So that's my pride. As far as what I'm doing, a lot of my content is on the bike life, the bike culture.
Okay.
Me taking motorcycle trips or whatnot. But then I also flip it and I get involved in just kind of like things that's going on in the community, events that's happening.
Right.
Community events more so. I'm more focused on that. Things that got to do with what's going on in my community.
Right. And politics, of course.
Politics always.
But you don't really talk about that so much.
I talk about it. I just don't publicly talk about it.
That's what I'm saying, right? You don't talk about it so much like on your social media platforms.
Yeah, once you get to a certain spot, you just got to really be smooth and careful the way the way you move, the way you talk, and what you're talking about, because or should I say me, I do interact with a lot of people.
Yeah.
On both sides of the political field. So I don't publicly speak on it. However, I do behind closed doors. You never know. Like, I can be going back and forth, and then we walk out and we're smiling, respectfully amongst each other.
So I post a lot of trending topics on my Facebook page. And the other day, I post something, and I want to get your take on it because I didn't see that you had responded to it. Why didn't you respond to my post?
Charmaine, I don't keep up with everybody's posts. This is what I do. Let me tell you this. I post and get off.
Do you really?
Yes. You
don't stay and engage? No. You don't look at your notifications or anything?
Every so often I glance back and forth at it, but my life, I'm too busy to really just sit on there like that.
Well, yeah, me too, but
like, I mean,
when you're a content creator, I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to invest the time because it's in your brand as well. So here's the thing. So this is what I post. I said, I wanted to know that if you fell out with somebody, but coincidentally you got to the hospital and they ended up being your nurse or physician. For the sake of my post, I put nurse. And then I asked the question, would you ask for someone else, or would you continue to let this person be your provider, whether it was a nurse, physician, whatever? So what's your take on that? Or would you make peace?
No, I don't think it. I think it depends on the relationship with me and that person. I can fall out with my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I dislike him. We just had a disagreement, and I'm in that situation. No, I don't want somebody else to take care of me. I want my cousin to take care of me.
Right.
It can be a friend of the family. Now, if it's someone, as the young people say, the ops. If it's somebody that I don't like, I don't rock with, and my level of comfort is not there, yeah, give me somebody else. I don't even want you in my business. I don't think I'm going to get the best treatment. So It depends on the level that we're on. On us. It just depends on us.
Right. And when I was just replying to comments, most of the people were saying that they were like, nah, give me a new nurse. They was like, I don't want to trust anybody who I used to be friends with and now we're not cool because now they, like you said, now they don't know my business or they don't even trust. And I mean, that was almost alarming for me because when we go into, nursing, we get our license and everything. We go through this long education or whatever. This isn't so if down the line, we're maintaining a vendetta against somebody, if we ever see them again, we kind of use this power, to kind of flex and be like, yep, I'm gonna make sure, they don't get their medicines or something like all that stuff goes through out the door.
No.
So for people to still,
but it doesn't. It doesn't.
I guess, but
you got happy people, but then you got someone, and this is everybody at some point in time.
Do you think somebody, a professional, is really thinking about that? Like, dang, I didn't like that girl in high school.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe,
Absolutely.
And then that's what a lot of the people were just saying. They were like, well, charms. You probably just don't think like that. But
you probably don't. I mean, it might not be a big.
I can't imagine, but I can't imagine any of my peers feeling like that, having some type of, because if I observed that somebody was like, ooh, this girl in here, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make sure, I would totally report that, because that's not cool.
I don't think somebody would mistreat a person because their job is more valuable, but do they remember and would they hold that vendetta? Yeah, I'm gonna still properly do my job, but I still remember. You get people, little as this, a phone call. Hey, guess who up in here? You remember that week old somebody from high school? Yeah, he up in here crying and whining and XYZ, this what happened to him. People, do that kind of stuff. They're not going to jeopardize their job, but they know. And some people get off on it like, man, I couldn't stand him back in the day. I'm glad to see him like that. That's some people, because everybody with a smile is not the same.
That's true. But nursing is one of the most trusted, like even above physicians, teachers. They one of the most trusted professions like in the world. It's been voted like polls and stuff. It's not like I'm making this up because I'm a registered nurse, but it's literally one of, and this has been for like years and years and years. So, that's why I was a little bit concerned. Like, dang, you would really think that, because nurses are people who you trust. But
the police are people that you're supposed to trust, but you don't. I don't trust people no more than I know them. But at the same time, I trust people to be passionate about the jobs that they have. And not everybody is like that, though. But that's the way that I try to be.
And because it's a critical time, like people are getting sick. People are, every time you look up, you see RIP, somebody's posting something on social media. So, this is the time where like you really need to feel like you can trust your healthcare professionals, have some type of relationship, with your physician. Make sure you're going to get your daily checkups, not daily, but, your yearly checkups and, just things like this and managing your healthcare because, if you don't, then, I think people get this sense that we are invincible. Our bodies are invincible. So it's like, you're doing whatever, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're eating whatever, and you don't realize that at some point in your life, these things are going to catch up with you. So,
yeah, I'm with you. Me, do I think I'm invincible? Partially. Do I take care of my body? Absolutely. I don't put anything poisonous in my body. I don't smoke, I don't drink. I do eat pork.
Well, what do you consider poison? Because, of course you can't eat poison. You mean, what are you talking about? Like toxins like...
I don't put alcohol in
I was gonna say like alcohol.
I don't use my body with
because all food is good. You can eat it all in moderation.
Subjective
unless you're like your religion, has restrictions or something like that. I say
subjective, and I always say that because depending on who you talk to,
right?
You get this health professional. Oh, you shouldn't eat beef. You get this person over here. Oh, you shouldn't eat fish. Oh, and then you get people, oh, you should eat organic. So that's why I say subjective, because everybody has an opinion on what you should and what you shouldn't eat.
There's good and then there's better. So in that regard, then yeah.
But what's good and what's better?
Well, good.
Is a fruit better than a vegetable?
Those pretty much on the same line. You said why?
No, you said they're on the same line, but is a fruit better than a vegetable? Because you have some people that eat vegetables but won't eat fruits.
I'm talking about in terms of like high fat. High fat would be bad food.
See, and that's the whole point of what you're just saying, like right now. And I say that to say this when you say subjective. because depending on who you talk about, you got the calorie eaters, you got the sodium eaters, or should I say watchers? Let me not say eaters. The sodium watchers, the calorie watchers, you got the fat watchers. So it's like no matter what someone eats, someone else is gonna say, "Oh, that's not healthy." You got the people that say, "Oh, you shouldn't drink milk. You should drink soy milk."
Well, but it's not subjective. It's not subjective, Lavish. The reason why it's not subjective is because there are some healthier foods than other. I mean, that's just fact. Like when you compare bacon to when you compare shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, if you look at the calories, if you look at what has the most salt, what sodium, what has the most cholesterol, stuff like that.
You got it subjective again. Here's why.
It's not subjective.
It is, definitely.
It's facts. It's a nutrition label, which is facts. And that has what ingredients are in the food. And you measure it up. And then that's how you pick which one's healthier.
So let's say
that's how you do it.
What is healthier to our body? Now you take a person like myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say it has more calories, more carbs than this. I work out, so I'm in the gym. So now what's healthier for me is to eat more carbs, to have more protein.
True.
So someone else is, I want to have less carbs. So it's subjective. Because again, you're feeling this way, saying, "Oh, that's not healthy."
No, it's not, because just from the simple fact of you working out, that doesn't mean that you can eat whatever you want. You know that, right?
You have to watch, because here we go. You have proteins, good proteins.
Right.
You have good carbs. You have bad carbs. But my carbs for my body, for what I'm going for, my goal differs from a heavier set person that's trying to diet. I might need to eat a lot more egg whites.
True.
You might need to stay away from it. So I'm going to tell you that's good. That's healthy. That's great. You should be eating that because it's good for my body, for what my goal is. Where your goal is, I need to watch my carbs, my carbohydrates.
Right. So it's individual. It's not subjective.
Correct. That's why it's an individual.
Right. Not
makes
subjective.
It subjective.
No, that doesn't. Lavish, you're wrong.
You know what subjective is, right?
Yes.
It's opinion based.
Yes, but it's not an opinion. Eating good or eating something better, that's not an opinion. That's what you need to do in order to sustain your health.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We go to the grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. Let's use this. We go to that 5-star steak restaurant.
Okay.
We go to the local bar.
Okay.
We buy a steak. One's from a 5-star, one's from a bar.
Okay.
And grill. Both steaks.
Well, it depends on how they prepare it. So if one's loading that steak up with with seasoning and the other one is just cooking it in some olive oil or something.
So now we're talking about
that's not subjective.
Okay.
But we're gonna move on.
Okay.
But the takeaway from that little friendly debate is that you want to pay attention to your nutrition labels. That's the most important thing. That's how you stay healthy, seriously. I mean, like all subjective, objective.
I'm eating everything.
Well, maybe that works for you.
I'm eating all the carbs, all the starch, all the proteins. I'm eating it all.
You got to have a balance.
Pork. I'm eating it.
Listen.
Beef.
Listen, everyone, you are watching Nurse Charms Live. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. I need everyone to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe, okay? Okay, so let's turn to another subject. I thought this was pretty interesting. So, I actually saw, if I could open this up here, I actually saw this article. Okay. And basically it was saying that is interesting. So this is just the headline right here. But 92% of American adults say that they prefer to date people who've been to therapy, a survey shows. Just hearing that alone.
Well, I haven't heard that. but I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad thought.
92%.
I mean, that's pretty high.
Yes.
I never thought about it. I never thought about looking into it or to, hear what a survey said, but I don't think therapy is bad. If you would have asked me this probably 15, 20 years ago, I would have laughed at you.
Right.
I think today so many different people are living through so many different traumas that they are not even aware of.
Well, people have, what is it, life coaches or life coach. That's what they call it. A lot. Like, remember maybe about 5 years ago, I don't know, that became really popular. Everybody had a life coach.
Yeah.
So it's almost normal now where like you said, like 10, 20 years ago, it's like, oh, you must be crazy. What are you doing
you
talking
must be
to
crazy.
it was like a horrible, right. It was like a horrible stigma. So that's why I was just so surprised. 92% basically said it's a deal breaker if you don't go see a therapist. And I'm like, wow, now that's a huge position to have, because I don't have a coach. I don't have a life coach. I haven't been to therapy or any of that stuff. So am I like a deal breaker?
I think so. Here's the thing.
You said you think so? That would be a deal breaker?
It's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
I don't get off on any of that stuff that I read when it comes down to relationships, because relationships are tailored.
Right.
They're custom fit.
Right.
That's the preference
right.
of choice within each individual. I don't think it's a bad idea for anybody to go see professional help, even if it's just once, to talk and just express yourself. Because what I do know and I do notice is that it's hard for individuals to really express themselves.
Right.
There's so much judgment that's going on, and a lot of people are selfish. There's not a lot of understanding. So to go out and talk to someone that you can actually comfortably vent to is great.
Right.
Guidance.
Right. Communication, like, wow, like, what are some of the reasons why you think that people have a hard time communicating with each other? Like, it's always like a struggle for men and women to communicate. In relationships, I mean, just in general, it's like people don't understand each other. People don't listen. They listen to debate or listen to argue, as people say. But
because
where does this even come from? It's like, okay, you grow up as a kid in whatever environment you were raised in, you learn to respect and listen to your parents, hopefully. So doesn't that behavior transition as you come to be an adult and you're working with people? To be respectful if someone's talking, just listen, don't interrupt unless you're
the era we was growing up in.
Yeah, what's going on now?
That's not the era that we, unfortunately.
Well, you're a parent, so you're a parent, so speak from that perspective. I mean, I'm sure you're raising your kids in our era,
I'm
right?
raising my kids in our era.
So it can't be the era, because the generation just repeats how they were raised.
Well,
if I don't have kids, if I have kids, I would do the same thing. I loved how I was raised. I mean, I feel like my parents really did a good job. I mean, can't you just look at me and tell? No, just kidding. But I feel like my parents did a great job raising me. I feel like I have excelled through life because of my upbringing and things like that. So if I had a kid, I would totally raise them. So I don't understand why that just doesn't keep continuing generation to generation.
Goes outside of the home. It goes outside of the home. When you were raised, we got the foundation laid out to us.
Mm-hmm.
But when we went behind our parents' back and they didn't see us,
we
were doing our own thing.
Right.
Yeah, peer pressure, fitting in what you thought was cool. Then you had your own personal identity.
Right.
So all of those things play a factor. Your parents, they're just here to teach you the foundation.
Right.
You're an individual and you're going to move how you move. So you get a lot of these children, they are just out here like the Wild Wild West, right? And the environment around them is making it almost socially acceptable for them to behave the way that they're behaving.
Right.
Let's go back into time when you had your first job, whatever your first job was.
I worked at Baskin Robbins ice cream. And let me just real quick about this. The only reason I got that job is because I wanted a pair. Remember used jeans? Back in the day we used to wear
those.
Right. So I wanted a pair, and I grew up really spoiled. My parents would get me whatever I want. But this one particular time, I wanted those jeans and they would not get them for me. So I was upset and I was just like, what? Because I was spoiled brat. I was like, what? Y'all not going to get me these jeans? So guess what? I went out and I got a job. I rode my bike up to Baskin Robbins. It was up the street, and I got me a job. They hired me and everything. It was like my parents weren't there or anything. And when I came back, after I got my first check, I went and got the jeans, and then I came back home and I showed my my mom. I never will forget, and she was like, thank God, like you learned the lesson that I wanted to teach you. It was like a mind thing. Like, yeah, that's what we wanted you, because, you know, we're not going to sit here and, you know, spoon feed you and give you everything you want the rest of your life. So it was a great opportunity for me to actually get my first job on my own, because, you know, I was even independent then. Like, okay, if y'all not going to get it for me, I'm going to get it for myself.
Okay. So now you had that first job, right? You had that first job. You didn't know anything. You walked up in this place. They taught you customer service.
Right.
They taught you how to talk to the customer, how to greet the customer, how to serve the customer.
Right.
We didn't have cell phones at that time.
Right.
You had to be somebody to even have a pager. And most children, teenagers, we didn't have pagers. If we had a pager, our parents was probably wondering, what are we doing with a pager?
Right.
I didn't think we were able to really get pagers
we had
till
to
we
sneak
got
it.
closer
Right. We had to
to
sneak
like
and get
graduation, 12th grade or whatnot.
Right.
So nowadays, you go into a restaurant, a fast food place, some people's first jobs, they're goofing off, they're laughing, they're playing. The customers are waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You have management that's supposed to manage the company to run a certain way. They're not even managing the company to run a certain way.
Right.
These children, these teens that's coming up, they're thinking that that's acceptable to behave in such a manner.
Right.
So society plays a large part on the way that our children are outside of the household.
That's true. That's true.
It was a time where we all cursed when our parents wasn't around.
Right.
When we were around our friends. But we were still mindful and respectful that when we're out around other adults, strangers, we didn't cuss.
So what is different back then and now then? Like, why aren't
no one cares? It's a free for all. You can't talk. Go to a group of teenagers now and tell them, hey, watch your mouth. And they're going to tell you, you watch yours. Who are you talking to?
Because you know why? Their parents are talking like that too. So it's like, you can't scold me for cursing. My parents do it. So what's the difference?
Their parents, not only that their parents do it, because we're the children, we're not supposed to do what the parents do. We're supposed to do what the parents tell us to do.
Right.
But what happens is now the parents are becoming these individuals' friends.
Right.
You got kids smoking with their parents.
I think that's one of the worst things you can do is be like, I don't know. And it's hard for me to speak on these things. I get it because I don't have kids, and you know, I know a lot of people always get angry when I speak on kids because it's like, well, you don't know, blah blah blah. But I just personally feel like you shouldn't be your child's best friend. I feel like
you're supposed to be a parent.
Right, but you got people talking about, yeah, you know, they're my BFF. We do everything together and stuff, and I really don't think that's healthy. I really don't think. Because now when you have to discipline this person,
it's going to be a lot harder to discipline.
It is going to be hard. And now you're going to have like resentment. You know what I'm saying? So you're totally going to get the negative response. But I get it too, because some parents feel like, well, I want my child to be open with me. I want them to feel like they can.
Balance. You
exactly.
have to find that balance. It's all about finding that balance. You have to set that foundation up with your child to say, hey, listen, you can do this. I can't tolerate that.
Right.
You can do this, but I'm still your parent.
Right, exactly.
You know, you have teenagers now that's smoking in the house with, you know, their parents. I've seen people who have the opposite sex spend nights over.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
That was like wouldn't happen.
Right.
You know, when I was growing up. So
right.
Some of these kids, they make me feel like, wow, I grew up in the wrong era just with so much freedom that they have.
Right. I
didn't have all that freedom, unfortunately.
I know, right?
But I'm glad
you
because
just imagine
it made me who
that.
I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you got the mix of the two different types of children that's growing up now, because you got half of them are knuckleheads, and then you got the other half that are, you know, they're very articulate and very smart. You know, technology has groomed them to be ahead of their time.
So maybe just from some of the reasons that we're speaking about right now, maybe that is a reason why that you got studies saying, 92% of people would prefer somebody who's been to counseling if they're going to date that person, because, like traumas and stuff, or like people, they just grew up, maybe they didn't grow up with both of their parents there, or, they could even be from a foster care. You just never know what type of upbringing. And I mean, they just may be dealing with issues and internalizing those things, and they really don't know how to be in a healthy relationship. They really don't know how to treat someone.
Yeah, that's it, because you have some people that grew up in abusive homes, abusive families, watching their mother or father be very abusive, right? So they grow up and they repeat that behavior because they think that that's the accepted behavior. They think that that's what's supposed to happen, and they don't see anything wrong with that. And they grow up and become a monster.
Right. Listen, everyone, you're listening to Nurse Charms Live. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and all the social media platforms. Please follow, share, like this page. I have Lavish T. Williams in the studio with me.
Yes.
And this is my world premiere show. I am back on the air, everyone. So you can see me. I'll be here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. So I'm just so happy that I found a new home to broadcast my show. And yeah, so we're just basically having an open discussion today. I don't really have any of the usual topics. Like if you were followed me from my Nurse Charms Live before I took my break and now I returned, you know that I spoke on a lot of different health topics, a lot of different current things that's going on in health news. And I'm actually going to continue that with my show. But today, you're just kind of like a open mic type of thing, and just kind of telling everyone what we've been up to, and just kind of shooting a breeze here. And so if you're just tuning in right now, we're just kind of in the middle of a discussion here. I found a study, because I'm always got the research. I don't ever just want to talk about something out the side of my neck. I always want to have some type of research and evidence to back it up. So this study has said that 92% of American adults say that they prefer to date people who have been to therapy. And just the more Lavish and myself, we just talk about this, it kind of makes sense why more people are is kind of a deal breaker. Well, according to this study, it's kind of a deal breaker if you haven't been to some type of therapy. Because I personally feel I haven't been to therapy, but I personally feel like it would.
You've never been to therapy?
I haven't.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask you this question just out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason why you haven't? Have you, not saying that you have to go, but is there any reason why you haven't? Maybe never thought about it. Maybe never.
I actually have thought about it, because that's one of the perks that my job provides, the hospital. And I think maybe since COVID and everything, that kind of really made hospitals realize, like healthcare workers we're challenged. We're challenged from working short staff. We're challenged with just heavier patient loads, sicker patients. And we're just challenged with doing a lot of different things. So they started creating, programs for us to get free mental health care. So if we want to go see someone, we could do it free of charge. At least one session. I haven't really looked into it, but when I saw like the email come across or something like that, it was like we can schedule a couple sessions, and they were complimentary and things like that. And I think it is important. And at the time, I was thinking like, wow, I should take advantage of something like this. But I don't know. I mean, the opportunity is still there if I feel like it. But I personally feel like it's a great idea, although I haven't done it from myself. I can't speak for, I can't speak for personal experience. Of course, I have, that's literally my job that I do every day. I'm always counseling a family member, counseling a patient. They're dealing with a new diagnosis.
You do know, since, you being a fact checker and all that stuff, you do know that people in your profession,
yes,
they need to see a shrink more so than a lot of other people in other professions.
Right. That's what I was just saying. That's why they offer it for us. And that's something that, I have thought about doing, because I'm like, well, it's free. I should just try it out or whatever, because personally, I think everyone has some level of stress. If you can
They
see,
do, and sometimes you don't even know that.
right,
you're
if you can
stressing.
sit here and say that you don't have any stress, I wouldn't trust that person. Anybody in this world who says I don't have any stress, I am perfectly fine, everything in my world is good, that is a person that is definitely
You
not
have to-
being
you have to come
honest.
to, you have to get to that point.
Right, you have to
get to that- you have
recognize,
to get
right.
to that point.
Everybody deals with
I-
stress.
I've been to a shrink.
Okay.
It was a relationship like.
And let's not call it a shrink, because we don't want to give it a negative connotation, because there are some people who are listening and they may be, going to see a counselor. So we want to
a shrink.
a professional. No, Lavish, that's not cool. Okay, so
because
anyway,
you got to keep in mind too, and this is another thing. Everybody just want to be so politically correct.
no, but for the person
No,
who
you
has
gotta-
went to school, I mean, this is a psychologist. I mean, they went to school for what, 6-7 years or however long to get
be a
their degree.
psychologist.
Yeah,
I
and then
get
you
that.
want to just minimize them and call
You
them a
have to-
shrink.
No, you have to.
Like,
be
what if
able-
somebody called me a butt wiper or something?
you
I
have
wouldn't
to be able
appreciate
to
that.
Appeal to every group of people, because you're not going to go into the hood, and this is where I like to really specialize on as far as people being different. You're not going to come down Puritan Avenue and say, hey, you need to go see a psychologist, because they're going to look at you and tell
Well, you would say a counselor.
you're not going to say that. If you want to engage,
People understand counselor.
you got to listen. People understand what they know from their environment. You're talking to different levels of different people.
People don't understand shrink.
People
That's
do.
a slang. They don't even know what that is.
So let me ask you this. If you go into the prison system, or if you go into the projects, are they going to be willing to listen to you?
Yes, which
No.
I've done. I've literally
You know
done
who
that.
They're going to be able to listen to?
What?
They're
Who?
going to listen to that person that can talk their language, which is why people got to be versatile to be able to address every type of different person that they're in a room with.
Just because I don't want to use that word means that I don't want
But
to be
you gotta
versatile.
engaging. Because here's okay. I want to use myself because I don't want to use other people. I want to use myself. And I'm very versatile on a professional level, but then also on a hood level. If I gotta go and I gotta explain something to someone, I'm already picking up on them. I'm picking up on their vibe. So I'm reading them. I know I can't go in here and I can't talk all this big word stuff, because one, I'm gonna lose their interest. And they really wanna be engaged, but I'm gonna lose their interest because they can't comprehend that conversation.
Well, we already talk with people on a 4th grade level anyway. So I
But
mean,
outside of that, because we can't walk in and say they got a 4th grade level, because you just can't, because you don't know. You got to go in there, you're going to lose.
That's why the industry has created that standard, because even if you've never been to school, I mean, most people have that. You have to at least finish elementary school. I mean, you may not have went to junior high or high school for who knows whatever reason, but I mean, legally you have to at least
whatever level, because people are graduating college and don't even know anything.
Right. That's why it's
college.
just been established. You just talk to everyone, on that level. But go ahead.
Right. So you go. You're not going to engage. You're not going to talk to that hood guy, and he be engaged with you using words that he can't even comprehend, because he doesn't know them. So when you say, "Hey, I'm going in here. You need to see. Maybe you need to get a psychological analysis of XYZ," he's going to look at you and he's going to say,
Well, that's why we don't use that language though.
But when you say shrink, he's going to say, okay. So in his mind, he's going to be able, not everyone, he's going to feel more comfortable on speaking and saying, hey, I got an appointment, I got to go see the shrink.
Okay, Lavish,
it's
I
no
get it.
big
You
deal.
want to justify you using that word.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, because now if I go and I say to my job, I'm going to go to my job and I'm going to say, hey, I think I need to go see a psychologist. I think I need to go see a counselor. So you got to have different levels, but you can't stop someone from speaking on how they...
No, because guess what? You don't go into these hoods or prisons by calling it that is a slang term for a term that they actually know. Nobody learns the word shrink as their first word. That's not how
No,
it works.
that's not.
Because
what
you
I'm
have to define it. So that's what I'm saying. So these people who are saying the word shrink, you know, in the hood or prisons, they know that shrink means a counselor.
Correct.
So
But,
that's what I'm saying. So for
so
the
if they know that, then you can't stop them from using. What they're
well, yeah,
doing.
they can use it, but professionally, you don't want to use that language. If that's what they want to call it amongst themselves, okay, fine. I'm not here to correct anybody. I'm not here to say, no, don't call me that. Y'all want to joke and say whatever, then that's fine. But professionally communicating with someone, I disagree with you when you say that you would go in there using the word shrink. Like you hear that. That's not cool, Lavish. That's not cool. But I mean, we could just disagree on that.
I would say, you know, I would say shrink. I would say counselor. If I'm at my kid's school, you know, I would say, you know, the psychologist. It just depends on who I'm talking to and where I'm at.
Yeah,
But if I'm speaking on it, I'm going to say I'm going to see the shrink, because I'm comfortable with calling the person to shrink, because that might be my comfort level of saying I'm going to see the psychologist without using the word psychologist, because mentally I might feel like saying psychologist is just, you know, so screwed up and something's wrong with me, because you don't know what the inner thoughts of a person, of the working mind is. Let me say that.
So we kind of got in a tangent about these terms.
Great debate though.
I know, right? But you were saying, you were more so giving a point for why you feel like when you're dating someone, why you agree with the study, why people should go see counselors.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it, because guess what? It's so much. There's a lot of screwed up people in relationships, right? And when I say screwed up, can I use the word screwed up? I'm just, you know, I don't.
Everything is politically correct these days.
No, and that's the thing. That's a whole nother subject.
You don't want somebody to be like, "Oh, I was turned off by the Nurse Charm show because they were on there saying shrink and screwed up."
No,
trust me, I will get that.
Here's the thing. Everybody
just say challenges, okay? People have challenges in relationships.
Well,
and it's true, they do. Not even relationships. I mean, in life, communicating. I mean, communication is literally like the number one reason for everything. Why are we at war right now? Communication. But we don't want to get into that discussion, right?
I don't think it's communication. I think it's territorial. Forget the communication. It's power, territorial, and it's economics.
Yeah. It's so sad. It's so sad.
You know, conquer, divide, and conquer.
It's so sad. So what are some solutions then, you know, just men and women communicating that we can do to improve? I feel like therapy is definitely a good solution.
Well,
anything else?
Good for those that want it.
Right. Because not everybody's going to want it, so we got to have another solution.
Then you have people that's in relationships that will go see a family counselor. You see how I just said that? I didn't say shrink.
Right. Thank you. You're learning.
Well, it just wasn't fitting for
me
at that particular time. But you'll go see a family counselor, and you might have the male or the female, depending on what type of relationship you're in. One of them are they're just there, body in the seat.
Right.
They're there to please their mate.
Right.
I don't want to be here.
Right.
Nothing's wrong.
And that's not healthy. That doesn't help anything.
But now that person's there. Why? Because they were forced.
Right.
So it's like that, you know, it's like that whole little balance thing. Everybody doesn't want to see a shrink. But you might have the one individual, the way that I look at it, and everybody won't look at things the way that I do. I would think that this person is more serious about them and their inner peace.
Yeah.
You know, by going to talk to some specialist so that they can, you know, become a better person.
Right, for
or
sure.
they just don't have that outlet to really just communicate. You got people from broken homes. You got people that don't have mothers. Like females, they really need their mothers.
Right.
You know, because that's the lady.
I need my mother
that can console them and talk to them.
Yeah, for sure.
In most relationships, depending on the relationship that a person has with their mother.
Yeah.
You know, fathers, men, we definitely don't have too many outlets to really open up and communicate, because as a man, as a boy, as a child, you know, in reverse order, we're always taught, you know, tighten up, toughen up. You're a boy, you know, you're supposed to be strong. So now you have individuals that grow up through life and they don't know how to release. So they have all of this stuff locked up, bodied up, all inside of them.
Right.
And it comes out in acts of violence and acts of abuse
Yeah.
when it does release, because they don't know no other type of way but to bring it out that way.
What about when you see all these conversations all over social media, people doing podcasts and things like that, where they have like the male versus the female? Do you think any of that conversation is healthy? Because it's always, like the bashing, back and forth, like, oh, the men do this, they shouldn't do that, or the women.
So now we talking, when you say that, because I want to be clear, I just want to be on the right page. Are they debating with each other, or are they saying what a man is saying what a woman should do and not do, and a woman is saying what a man should and shouldn't do?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Because how can one man, and then it'll always be like, oh, because this person's married, they can speak for all men. No, you can speak for your situation with your significant other. How can you speak for all men? Like I never could understand
I don't get
that.
myself wrapped up in it. I don't entertain it. I don't even pay attention.
Yeah,
to it
you see these experts, and then next thing you know, they end up getting a divorce, or they've done something scandalous or whatever. So it's like we were all just listening to you telling us what to do, how to treat our man, or what men don't like. You want to just generalize and tell women all of these things, and then lo and behold, here you go, falling from grace.
I don't look at it. I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I think some of it destroys relationships.
Yeah, it can.
I think that so much stuff goes on in the internet, that people forget the difference between the internet and real life.
Right.
They get so caught up in what they see on the internet, and they bring it to their personal lives.
And that's what I'm getting at here.
Ruins everything,
yes,
because of false stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get at as we close the end of this show. We only have like 3 minutes left.
We got 3 minutes already?
Yeah, I know. This just breezed by, right?
It did.
So I just want to close up this conversation. But yeah, you see these dialogues back and forth, and then next thing you know, you're taking that stuff, like you said, into your relationship. And then next thing you know, you guys are on a rocky path, and you guys end up, breaking up because you listen to some person. So like that internet chatter and stuff like that, or listening to, and this isn't to degrade anybody, because if they're the relationship expert, fine.
No, to me every relationship is custom tailored.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
because me and your relationship might be different from him and her relationship.
Right.
It doesn't mean that just because we don't agree or see eye to eye with what they do,
right,
it's not perfect for them.
Right, doesn't mean our stuff is wrong.
So I can't sit up here and judge that.
Right.
And people, they forget that.
Right. And they do that all the time, and it's just like so crazy. And I'm just like going, good luck with that, because if you're going to listen to this person, it makes good for clickbait, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
It makes good for getting some likes and shares and all those wonderful things. But I think the healthier way that you need to do,
is
like
knowing that person, learning who you're dealing with. That's the best way, because I'm going to be this way, she's going to be this way, we're going to lock in.
Right.
And it might not be the same for that couple over there.
Right.
You got serious couples that's just super serious about everything, and it works out for them.
Right.
Then you have another couple over here, you got the opposites, but they're so opposite that they attract.
Right.
So
So listen, everyone, thank you so much for listening to this show. It's going to be a great season of the Nurse Charms Live. I'm going to be here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Who knows what guests I'll have, but I'm sure I'll have guests. I always plan out my show ahead of time, but just expect to get some good content from me. Lavish, tell everyone where they can find you.
Listen, you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Lavish T Williams. Lavish T Williams. Make sure to check me out. I got a 24-hour towing service, Lavish Towing. You can reach me 313-463-0017. And if you ever need your car detailed, cleaned, or all that other cool stuff, check me out on Livernois and Joy Road. That's 8843 Livernois.
And y'all can find me, Nurse Charms, on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Nurse Charms. Follow me, everybody, Nurse Charms. And thank you again for watching Wjzz Cool TV. I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you for being here, Lavish.
Oh, no, thank you.